Good afternoon, partners. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Just waiting for a few more partners to log on, and then we'll get started. Thank you. Please feel free while we're waiting for partners to log on to share the link with any your partners that may be interested in hearing more about um, energy deregulation and how to capitalize on it. So please feel free to shoot the link out to anyone. We have a little room. We are 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. So last time we did this, we the system crashed because we had over 200 people. So I've been getting a lot of calls from around the country on how to close deals and what are the and, certain basic concepts. So I wanted to just kind of highlight some basics with respect to how we close deals and just provide some insight. So we'll get started shortly. And again, feel free to bounce this to your partners who may be interested in hearing more as to how energy is deregulated and how to close deals across the country. All right, thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started because we have a certain time frame by which to deliver the webinar. Again, feel free to send the link out to your team members to remind them to jump on. Again, we're hosting this webinar primarily, obviously, due to the the industry itself and the growth of the industry um, across the markets, and then also just simply to provide our partners with some highlights. We've received calls across the last few weeks on how to close deals, and we just wanted to kind of go back and just provide the basics on that because it is still a very viable um, 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 product with respect to what we have available to us. So we want to make sure we provide some insights and then give our team members an opportunity to kind of capitalize. So um, feel free to send the link out to some of your partners because we have some room for them to jump on and which is great because the more of us who know how to do this stuff, the better it is for all of us across the board. But we're going to go ahead and and get the webinar started. So let me just go here. Am I coming through clearly, partners? If somebody could just type an OK into the log, into where the question and answer section is. Okay, good. Thank you. I got an OK from DL Jones. I got an all clear from National Director, soon to be Senior Vice President, Mr. Oscar Solis. And I got a heave ho from Mr. David Santiago. Thank you very much, team. All right, so let's rock and roll. And thank you, Jason Green. So let's go ahead and put it out there and get this thing rocking and rolling. This is still a very very viable play for us across the markets. Um, Again, we're putting this out. We've received so many calls this week and last week about commercial energy. So I wanted to provide some highlights, and I would hope that the partners on the call will pick some of these highlighted points up and take it back to the team members. Senior Vice President Lino Solis, I hail out of the New York City market. We, in my day to day, I'm a lawyer, and do real estate finance, a bunch of different things. But this business to me is a blessing because we're able to harness a multi-billion-dollar industry as a collective group of people. It's so simple when you think about this business. All it really takes is we collectively holding hands, and then each one of us that use these services just use them through our own website. And as a result of doing that, a fraction of the dollars that come from these services will fall into our collective bank accounts. And we all, as a community, spend literally billions and billions and billions of dollars on energy, telecom, healthcare, um, coffee as a commodity, etc. So let's highlight where we are with respect to commercial energy, and then let's push this forward because there's so much capital out there for us. It's unbelievable. I was talking to a group just to highlight for us a major real estate company out there that manages over 100 million square feet of real estate across America and globally. And I wanted to call them a couple of years ago on energy. And I really thought, I had a contact internally, and I thought, these guys are super smart guys. They obviously have a handle on this stuff. And I called, but it was a soft call. I didn't really push it. The guy didn't call me back. And then we were supposed to meet. He didn't meet. And I didn't really get pushed for the no. And anyway, one of our partners had, fast forward 2 years later, had the contact internally, and they went out and they said, "Hey, I'm going to give these guys a shot." And it went as far as several conference calls with some senior executives inside the company itself. It's a big brokerage company here in New York, but they have a global footprint. And it just so happens that during this call, the guys on the call said, "You know what? If you guys had reached out to us about a year ago, we would have taken you guys on because we didn't have any, specific knowledge of this area of energy brokerage. And but recently, we had three of our guys go out and get certified." So there you have it. We missed out on a potential 100 million square feet opportunity in terms of, energy advisory because we didn't go for the no and we didn't really push it. But that's just a highlight for you. And just another underscore for you during this call. Again, these guys manage, huge properties for major investment banks across the globe. They said that they're just 2% of the market, and there's 98% of the market still out there available. And they can't do it all because they're just focusing on their stuff. And they told us that we were in the right track. So I just want, and that was a call that happened this week. I just wanted to highlight that for the partners out there that don't limit yourself thinking, well, that guy that manages that office building downtown, he already has somebody, so I'm not going to try to, I'm not going to even attempt to try to get that deal. No, if you have the relationship, you have a contact, go for the deal. Okay. So really quickly, building the right mindset for commercial energy. In order to do that, you gotta destroy your TV. Because you can't close deals watching TV. So you want to start here and you want to end up here. Okay. You may not want to do this in your home. Maybe out in the open field, it'd probably be better. But this is where we want to be because again, if we collectively link arms and use all of these services through each other, I think we can create unlimited wealth. So, but the deal doesn't happen without having the right mindset because we often say that this business is a self development course with a compensation plan. You got to make sure that you're developing self. So, these are some of the tools that we use to develop our mindset with respect to entrepreneurship and business generally. Think and Grow Rich, we all know, is the Bible of the industry. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Anything from our partners, platinum partners in our business, and any other folks out there in the direct sales world that can have an impact on you and your learning would be great. Great by Choice by Jim Collins is a great book on entrepreneurship and business, invisible capital, and then mindset by Carol Dweck. So make sure that you're in the process of always developing self and developing your mindset. And then we talk about direct sales industry, and U.S. is 15.9 million direct selling entrepreneurs out there, and over $31 billion U.S. alone, which is bigger than some of the top industries in the country, such as sports, entertainment, music, etc. And then here's a screenshot that shows an uptick of where the industry is. So I highlight this really just to show that we're in a huge industry, and it's only growing globally. And so we're at the right place at the right time with respect to where direct sales is. And then the company that we're affiliated with, and how we're launching our energy platform is through a company called Five Links. For those that are not direct partners yet, because we have some guests on the line. Our company is founded in 2001. It's over $100 million close of last year in revenue, 2012. Inc. 500, Inc. 5000, last 6 years in a row. It's a top company in Rochester right now, and it's part of the Direct Sales Global 100, and has been featured in the Wall Street Journal and NBC News. So, we are a player in the space. So we're well positioned within the growing industry of direct sales, and our company is well paced for that growth. And then we recently expanded by acquiring an ESCO in the that services the Washington D.C. and Pennsylvania, Maryland markets. America Power Partners is a company that Five Links acquired in May of 2013. So we're planting our footprints in the energy space, and we're making sure that we have strategic relationships in order to do that. And then Petro Oil is another company that we partnered with. This is not an acquisition, but more so a joint venture where we offer Petro Oil throughout the Northeast and the Mid Atlantic. And I was telling someone recently that my aunt had used another oil company over the last 50 plus years. She has a brownstone townhouse in Manhattan, and they used one particular company, and then we, offered her the Petro Oil service, and we're going to wind up saving her about $4,000 a year by taking on Petro and getting rid of the company that she's used for 50 years. So this is another opportunity for us to create residual income through the platform that Five Links is positioned. And I like to show the screenshot because it's just again underscoring the power of energy. These are uh, some of the top companies in the entire globe, and they're all in the energy space, according to Forbes magazine, Exxon, Mobil, Royal Dutch Shell. So we don't want to limit ourselves. We sort of want to make sure we highlight how huge the industry is, and how um, being able to walk in the industry and capitalizing it is huge for us, because typically you got to walk in with millions of dollars to participate in the energy space. And here we have the capacity to do it with a pretty limited startup fee. So we know how huge the industry is in terms of direct sales, and then of course what's happening in energy. And then here this shows us that it's a $500 billion deregulation that's happening in the US, and this is what $1 billion looks like. So, we're at a sort of a major shift of wealth that's happening right now globally, certainly within the United States markets, excuse me. And what that presents us is a unique opportunity to capitalize on all these lights. This is a snapshot of Manhattan, and the company that I was referring to manages a bunch of these buildings. And up until a few months ago, they didn't have an energy brokerage service, which is really astonishing to me, but they just didn't. And it's certainly a business that we could have capitalized on, but we didn't go for the no, as we like to say. So I encourage the partners out there to go for the no. Don't look at these buildings and say, those guys have somebody already. The chances are they do not, because we're so early in the energy process, deregulation process. Okay, we looked at a bill the other day for a major private equity shop here in New York on Wall Street, and their bill was $350,000 a month. Okay, and they pay their energy directly to Con Ed. They don't even have an ESCO, not even an ESCO. Con Ed is the supplier and the delivery. $350,000 every single month they spend. You can bet you that we are working diligently to try to get that business. But that's the reality. And a bunch of the banks out here, they don't have an ESCO partner either. So make a list and really go out there and really start thinking about who you can talk to create some business for yourself and your partners. So we talk about Jack Welch and Warren Buffett. Deregulation would be bigger than the internet, according to these wealthy men. and it's the largest shift of wealth in American history, according to Warren Buffett. As you know, Warren Buffett is one of the most wealthiest men in the entire world. And Jack Welch, he ran GE for years, and he's super successful, wealthy individuals. And they're talking about where energy is in the U.S. right now. So we can't miss this boat. I like the fact that we are pretty diversified in our product lines, but we certainly want to make sure that we incorporate commercial energy into our book of business. One transaction alone can reap you, tens of thousands of dollars of business run into your book of business, and capturing a percentage of that as the partner who closes it or the upline partner who's participating in it. And then, of course, the point structure that we've set up as a company in order to capitalize on that. So you want to make sure that you do not turn a blind eye on what's happening in the energy space. And then I love this screenshot because it just highlights where we are. And if we stop to really think about this for a minute, I often ask our partners, how many billionaires are in Russia? Well, Forbes tells us that there are nearly 100. And this was 2013, mid 2013. So they're probably over 100 billionaires now. And Moscow has more billionaires, the city of Moscow, than any other city in the entire globe. Okay? More billionaires live there. And this is a country that was formerly a communist country. And why do they have so many billionaires? I'll tell you why. Because um, uh, uh, commodities and utilities and services were in the public hand, meaning the state's hand, and they shifted into private hands. Okay, gold, oil, diamonds, um, telecom, cellular services, real estate that was in the hands of the government shifted to the hands of the individuals. And if you're a well-positioned oligarch and you had some great relationships and family and whatever it might have been, you positioned yourself to become a billionaire. And so what I say is something similar is happening here in the US in that we have this shift of wealth that's happening in energy. And so $500 billion will shift hands. And in that shifting, millionaires and billionaires will be created. So that's the opportunity that is in front of us right now. And we can't miss that opportunity. We can't, get sidestepped with all the noise that's happening and miss capitalizing on the shift of $500 billion moving from one hand into another hand. We certainly can't do that. Because when we talk about leveraging capital, this is one of the largest capital leveraging opportunities that we as a community will participate in. And so the timing is now. And I often like to ask a follow up question to this screenshot. How many billionaires of color are in the United States? How many billionaires of color are in the United States? I believe there's one or two. I know Oprah is one, and then there's conversations about Bob Johnson being one, but we don't know what his wife left him with when she divorced him a couple of years ago. I think she took part of the billion. So, as we have lived in a capitalist system for the last, you know, umpteenth years, I question why there's only one or two billionaires in our communities when we should be well versed and educated in capitalism. So there's obviously something missing or some information missed us along the way, or certainly our community along the way, because we should similarly have competitive deal makers in the marketplace that are creating millionaires and creating billionaires. When we look at the internet and how the internet is being created today and the billionaires that are being created there, we need to be in a space as a group of people that are participating in these huge markets. So there needs to be some level of education in terms of capital creation, capital leveraging. And I think for us, this is part of what we're trying to do today. Begin to really kind of highlight where opportunities could be that we can lever up and capture a time and space that will allow us to capitalize on, at least here, on the deregulation of energy. So let's start with the basics. One, how do you close deals? You want to make sure that in our company, Five Links, you want to be trained to Platinum Senior Vice President. Okay, and those of you that are guests on the call, our partners will show you exactly what that means. That's really just a university educational system online that allows you to do some training, and it takes maybe a couple hours, and you'll work your way through it, but it'll educate you on our process. Then you want to close out on 25 customer points, and that's really just using the services yourself and sharing the various services that are essential products that we all use every day. And then you want to become obviously commercial energy certified, and you'll take a mini course in your back office that'll show you how to do that. And then you want to make a list, because your list is your capital. You can't close deals unless you have a list of folks that you're going to talk to. And then, I like to always highlight the small commercial markets, which are, sort of these kind of shops. And then that's the large commercial market. Okay. Always like to highlight that because there's lots and lots of opportunities there in that space. Okay, and then of course we have the residential market. These are so we've captured the entire country. These are the so-called, we like to say, Obama states, if you will. Pennsylvania, Florida, Indiana, Michigan. I mean, what do we have in these cities? You have large, dense communities, right? Like Detroit, Indiana, Philly, Baltimore, D.C., Atlanta, Oakland, New York, Hartford, Boston. You have these large urban marketplaces, and typically, where in these large urban marketplaces, who do you find there? You find folks from the Latin community, African Americans, people from the immigrant community that are moving here from overseas. So, these are the so-called, as we like to say, Obama states, and I think for us, it just provides an interesting opportunity to leverage what's in our backyards. So I like to highlight this for the partners because we sometimes miss this. This is the commercial energy threshold. As you know, you could sign customers on in your back office if it's a small deal, and you could sign customers on in your back office if it's a big deal. Well, this is the line of demarcation. This is how you know whether it should go into your small office or whether it should go into your big office. These are the minimum threshold. If it's New York, if it's $500 and more, it should go into your back office, and you should acquire 3 bills. If it's $500 and less, then you could just do it through your portal with the customer. You could just send them the link, and they could sign themselves up, or you bring your laptop and you could sign up together. And you don't need the 3 bills, and you don't need a LOA, etc. Okay, New Jersey is 500, Maryland 500, Illinois is 2,000. If it's 2,000 and up, back office. 2,000 and down, guess what? You could do it through your back office. The same thing through your virtual store. Same thing for Ohio. Connecticut is 350. If it's 350 and up, you got to get the bills and the LOA. If it's 350 and down, then you can do it through your virtual store, and so forth, so on. Okay, so know your market, know your city, all right, and just know the threshold. Okay, in your city, you're going to have a particular commodity. You might have gas, you might have electric, you may have both. Like, let's take Georgia. In Georgia, you only have gas, you only have large gas. Okay. In New York, we have small gas and large gas. Okay. So, and small electric and large electric. So, know your commodity. So, when you and your partners are talking to someone, if you're in Atlanta and the guy says, "Look, I got a big building for you and it's all electric," guess what? You can't do that deal. We don't have electric. Okay. So that way you could kind of pinpoint, and save you some time and save your partners some time. All right. So know the commodity in your market, and then know the thresholds. Okay. Okay. So America approved energy services. They do our analysis. We're not the experts. Okay, partners. We don't have to be the experts in a deal. We have a company that is the expert for us. This company here. They do the analysis. They will do all the analytics. They send us a proposal. We deliver the proposal to our clients. Very, very simple. Okay, all we do is make the touch point. Okay, and creating residual income with energy deregulation. It's huge for us because I like to highlight this because energy is unlimited. Okay, it's unlimited commissionable payout. So the bigger the bill, the more money we're gonna make. Okay, the bigger the bill, the more money we can all make. There's no limit as to how much money you're gonna make on the deal. It averages out to about 1% of the supply side of the energy. Okay, it kind of averages out to about 1%, but 1% paying you residually by just simply making a connection with somebody, and then letting the brokers close the deal and pay you a dividend every year for the next 3, 4, 5 years, and then teaching your team to do the same thing. And if they close deals, you get a percentage of that for the next 3, 4, 5 years, depending on the contract. And then you build a massive team where everybody's doing that. Now you have an annuity coming back to you for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years that you can either sock away or use it as investment capital on other opportunities. Okay, so that's what we have in front of us. And if you see, we got to think about this not by ourselves. We got to think about it from a network standpoint. If we build a network of thousands, tens of thousands of people using these very same services through our network, we can create millions, if not billions of dollars. If we look at it as all, it's just me and my cousin, and he's not even going to switch off, then you've lost. Because remember, where did we start out? We started out with mindset and building your own self-development. So you got to change the mindset. And if to the extent that we could build a network, we can get paid unlimited amounts of capital on energy that's right in our backyards. Okay, so let's work on the mindset and we'll build a network. That's how easy this is. We can all, in a matter of 12, 24, 36 months, literally become millionaires by simply holding hands. If we just stop for a minute and hold each other's hands and say, listen, I'm going to use those services, but through you, because I already use them, but I'm going to use it through you and I'm going to save. And throughout the country, we could pop millionaires all over the place. And we could change the employment status of young folks of color, young Latino brothers and sisters who can't get a job here or there. If you look at the stats in Chicago, it's almost 87% of 15 to 22-year-olds are unemployed, because we're trying to work the system through a 19th century way of 20th century way of executing, and is now a leverage and network way of executing, which we're doing it through a transactional way, changing time for a dollar. Now we have to do it through a leverage and network. It's a different way of thinking. So here you go. You create your list of names: who owns and manages a business, real estate, property management, etc. Churches. Every church that is on this call should be on our energy. Okay, every real estate owner who's on this call should be using energy through us. Okay, that's what we're talking about in terms of creating a network through our communities. It's time for us to do that. It's time for us to create networks and create wealth for ourselves. Okay, because there's wealth all around us, but it's not connected to us. So we need to plug in to the wealth that's flowing right in front of our face. And to the extent that we build a network, we'll be able to do that for each other. So that's a memory jogger for you as to who you will have on your list. And then I say categorize your list. Okay. You don't want to just start making random calls. You want to create a system that you could plug anyone coming into your team. If someone starts tomorrow, you'll plug them into the system. You'll tell them to train a platinum senior vice president, get energy certified, get their 25 customer points, work on themselves and create a list. And then when they have their list, you're going to tell them to categorize that list: hot, warm, lukewarm, cold. You're not going to sit here and make cold calls, because that's not the system. The system is identify your hot and your warms. Call those people first. Okay, you and your team. It's not just you, it's you and a team. And then you're going to take your cold and you're going to warm them up. And you're going to take your lukewarm and really warm them up by exchanging with them and saying something nice when you walk into their store or their business or their whatever it might be. Okay, now you have a relationship. Now, later on, you'll come back and offer your opportunity, okay, to save on energy. Okay, and then you'll get all the other stuff. You'll get the coffee, you'll get the internet, you'll get the alarm, you get the merchant processing if we build a network. This is a mini script that you can use. Okay. Hi, John, Mary, good to see you. I wanted to call you and compliment you and reach out to you about your restaurant, your deli, whatever it might be. I'm glad that you're doing super well. John, listen, I recently started working with a group of partners who are helping businesses lower their expenses and increase their profits. You're going to pause. They're going to say, how do you do that? And you're going to say, glad you asked. Well, John, the laws have changed in our state because of deregulation. We're finding that business owners across our state and other deregulated markets are experiencing cost reductions and increased profits. Always good to save money in this current market, right, John? I'll tell you what I can do. If you give me 3 copies of your bills, I'll send them to my team. They'll give you a free analysis. And within a few days, we'll see if we can save you some money. You have no obligations. Just give me the bills, and I have a team ready to rock and roll and produce an analysis. The only thing you have to do, John, is enjoy the savings. Are you ready to give it a shot? And that's all you do. And you put this in your own words, but just capture the concepts. Your introduction. You tell them what you're doing. You tell them what's happening with deregulation. You tell them it's free. You got a group that's going to do an analysis, and you're going to send it out and bring back a proposal. That's it. Those are your big picture items. Okay, this is just a script that you can pick up and use. Then I always tell partners, if you're going to go for the big kahuna, you want to make sure you have your tools. So you want the America brochure. That's what this is really. It's just an America brochure, American approved brochure. You want an analysis, a sample analysis. You want the filings, brochures, business cards, professional attire, and depending on how big it is, you may want a PowerPoint. Okay, we just one of our partners just got a deal in Maryland, where he's going to analyze all of the schools in a particular county. And we coached him through the process, and he did a PowerPoint, and he sat in front of the school board. And guess what? They gave him the bills for 2 deals, 2 big deals. And if they like what they see, they're going to give him another 40 schools. Okay, this is from we coaching him and he following our process. He now will potentially provide energy to over 40 something schools in a particular county in Maryland. That's what we're talking about here. We have another partner in Jersey. We've coached her through the process. She has 2 universities that want to sit with her and have asked her, for information. They're going to allow her to analyze a couple of their buildings. So this is what you want to do when you're going in for the big kahuna, as we like to say. And if you go on my website, www.arzooenergy.com, arzooenergy.com, I have some of this stuff up there. Okay, and you can use it. Okay, so yeah, types of deals really quickly. As we're closing out, you want 3 types of deals: quick close deals, medium, and then long term. Limit your long term deals. A lot of people come up to me and they say, "Hey, Lino, I got a big, big, big deal. I know the mayor of Oz, and he's ready to rock and roll." Well, that's great, and I'm sure the mayor of Oz is a nice guy. However, you know those deals are long term deals, and you don't want to just have long term deals. You want a mixture of everything. Okay, quick, medium. Don't hang your hat on these type of deals. They take a year, 2, 3. Everybody's like, "Oh, I got this deal. I got this deal. I got this deal." But it's 36 months later, and you still don't have the points on the books. So don't get caught up on this. Let's maybe do 200 of these and create 2,000 residual points in a matter of 12 months. You see what I'm saying? So don't discourage anybody who wants to do the big, big, big deals, but don't hang your hat on the big, big, big deals, particularly big deals with cities. Big deals with private sector are easier than big deals with cities. And again, this is not to discourage anybody to put big deals in a pipeline with cities and states and all that kind of stuff. But just bear in mind that you want all types of deals, okay? This is a sample analysis. I have one on the website. Okay, this is what the client was paying, and then with us, we'll provide them a new supplier for 36 months. This is what they'll save. Okay, we just did a deal where we saved the client over 88,000. We did another deal. We saved the client over 60,000. We have another deal, saved the client over 36,000. This was a small deal, but it just illustrates the point. Okay. If they do 12 months, this is the savings: 18, 24, 36. Okay. So this is really one page, but I split it in 2 for purposes of the analysis. See, this is one page. America Approved provides it, and they send it out to us. Okay, it's on one page, but I split it up for the purposes of this training. All right, and then this is the LOA. If you guys have big deals, you fill out your LOA. Let me caution you about your LOA. You get it from your back office. It's only for large commercial deals that will be plugged into your virtual office. They're not for small commercial deals. You don't need an LOA for small because the client's going to plug it in themselves. So you don't need a letter of authorization because you're not doing an analysis. They'll see the fees right in your back office. Okay, and um, and then you make sure that the LOA gets signed after you get the bills. See, by nature of the transaction, the letter of authorization will be executed after you have bills in your hand. Because in theory, you can't fill out your letter of authorization until you have the bills, because you got to populate it with all this information: address, account numbers, and the utility company. And you don't know that until you have the bills. All right. So once you have the LOA finished, you go back to the client. You just ask them to sign, because this will allow you to do a much more thorough analysis. And 9 times out of 10, they'll just execute it with no problem, and then you'll deliver it to your partners, and then they'll complete the analysis for you. Okay. And all of this does not get done without the right mindset. You got to have the right mindset. You got to make sure you're working on yourself. Part of what people miss in the direct sales world is not realizing that this is business, and that in any business you have to develop self, and in developing self, that will sort of move you along the process of just getting better in your business and better as a person. So you got to develop, because when you get those no's, or you get people in your family members that say, hey, you're crazy, what are you doing, you had a good job with the government, you'll say to them, look, I'm working part-time on my fortune, and full-time on my job, so please leave me alone. So but you need these tools to help you have that right mindset. Okay. And we highly encourage you to, these are just suggested tools. You can pick any tool that you would like that will help you out with the develop the right mindset. Okay. And if you want more energy coaching, etc., and how to produce those PowerPoints, go to our zooenergy.com, send us a note, share with your partners. We've coached and closed over 25 26 million kilowatts. I have a partner that we've helped close. um, he has personally 715 personal customer points by closing these deals. I have partners in the 100 200 customer club. I personally have 260 customer points. I have three huge deals in a pipeline right now that'll bring about north of 1,000 new customer points. So this is one of the greatest ways to secure points in a deal and to develop residual income. So, with that said, partners, I want to thank everyone for tuning in this afternoon. Share the information with your team. Let them know that commercial energy is still alive and well in the deal, and that timing and position is everything right now. And make sure that you capitalize on it. And it's a great tool for recruiting so called Reds, because they understand and get energy, and then you layer the coffee over it. And I think you can grow a huge, huge business across the country and across the globe. With that said, my name is Lino Solis, Senior Vice President in this deal. This webinar is officially over. Thank you.